I had touched on emoji semantic change in my previous presentation by presenting the skull emoji as an example of how emojis can have more than one meaning at the same time, which in the case of the skull emoji, happened by having a generational difference of its perceived meaning. In my interviews and generally in my life, I found that younger generations used it as a way to convey its meaning figuratively, while older generations used it in its literal interpretation. In this presentation, I want to dive deeper into understanding the semantic change and its differently perceived meanings. I want to look at what they look like, the reasons why these changes happen, and how these changes are both affected by publics and how they can be key components in the integration of communities through the construction of publics. In terms of what these changes look like, a study done by researchers from the universities of Edinburgh, Essex, Cambridge, and Oxford measured semantic change in over 300 emojis using computational techniques, revealing 4 patterns of emoji semantic change between 2012 and 2018. As you can see here, some went through sudden or gradual temporary changes, some have recently started to change, and some are still changing. It was concluded that these differences and fluctuations of emoji semantic change happened because of different patterns of seasonality, fads, world events, shifts from literal to figurative usage, and most importantly, people's different active engagements with mass media, along with the different social circulations of media discourse. Similarly, as Janet McIntosh said in her article outlining code switching, orthographic condensations deployed by young, hip, Western users of digital media are learned through a process of exposure that has taken place both virtually on the internet and personally. Emoji semantic change is learned just the same way as orthographic condensations are. They are learned, picked up, and interpreted through the use and exposure of personal experience, digital media, and mobile phone communication. In other words, as a meme, phrase, or word becomes relevant, specific emojis can become tied to them and used by varying individuals who have become exposed to them. In this case, much of emoji semantic change relies pretty heavily on language's semantic change. For example, as the word tea becomes known to convey the word gossip, so too does the tea emoji. As the Pepe meme was introduced and was used to convey sadness, so too did the frog emoji. What is increasingly interesting, however, is the varying degree to which certain memes, phrases, or words become known to certain individuals and how that can affect how emojis are perceived. Like in my previous presentation, age can have a heavy influence on being able to understand modern age slang. But so too can one's identity. If you take the example I gave about the semantics of the word tea, the fact that this semantic change took place within Black drag culture means that this word's change, and with it, the emojis change, can very easily be missed by white heterosexual identifying individuals. If you are Black and gay, the semantic change of the word tea could very easily be known and could be reflected through emoji use. I put this hypothesis to the test and asked 2 of my straight friends and 2 of my gay friends if they had ever in the course of their lives known the semantic change of the word tea or used the tea emoji as a representation of gossip. One of my straight friends said, no, while the other said that while he did not use the tea emoji as a representation of gossip, he did know that it could be represented that way. By contrast, both of my gay friends said that they both understood the semantic change of the word tea and used the tea emoji as a representation of gossip. FYI, this data is extremely elementary with a lot of needed missing data. But this difference in understanding between individuals of 2 different sexual identities does make clear the idea that language's semantic change is intersectional and can occur and be known in some communities while not being known in others. It can occur in one public while many while not being known in another. While emoji semantic change relies pretty heavily on language's semantic change, This change can happen through visual similarities as well. While the maple leaf can signify autumn, a large degree of individuals identify it as a symbol of cannabis, largely because it holds visual similarities to that of a cannabis leaf. Or, an emoji's semantic change can happen on its own. Instead of an emoji maintaining a literal interpretation of a word that itself has changed meaning, or having visual similarities with something else, an emoji can change meaning all on its own. It is as simple as taking a random emoji and assigning it a completely different meaning than its intended one. You could assign the elephant emoji to mean that you are happy, or you could assign the TV emoji to mean that you have to pee. The opportunities are endless and unique, and the process of creating this certain semantic change can result in the integration of communities through the construction of publics. In other words, assigning an emoji a certain meaning can create a community of participation, as said by Den in What's a Cellular Public, by creating a community that only itself understands that emojis assign meaning. I came in contact with a situation that fit this exact idea. While scrolling on TikTok in August, I noticed that many of the videos I came across had comment sections filled with people commenting the chair emoji. I was continuously confused by what they meant, and it seemed like other individuals were too. It was only until I came across a certain video that I understood what was happening. A certain creator came up with the idea to assign the chair emoji the meaning of laughter, and wanted his viewers to use it in other creators' comment sections as part of an inside joke and as an effort to confuse those who were not in on it. The TikTok creator had ultimately created a public in which a community had shared knowledge about the meaning of a certain emoji and would participate by using that emoji with that prescribed meaning. I wondered if there were other examples of this being done. So I interviewed two friends and asked them if they had ever assigned an emoji a completely different meaning than its intended use, and asked if they had ever used that meaning with a group of people. They both said yes, and explained that, like the situation on TikTok, they assigned an emoji a certain meaning as part of an inside joke, which as a result could be used regularly in text messages or in Instagram comments. One friend told me that their friend group in high school came up with the idea to assign the rose emoji with the meaning of blacking out. The other told me that she and a bunch of friends used the fist punch emoji to mean to hang out. One could simply text the fist punch emoji, and the rest of the people in the group chat would understand that they were asking to hang out. They had created a public in which their friends had shared knowledge about the meaning of a certain emoji and could participate in text messages and in Instagram comments by using that emoji with that prescribed meaning. In conclusion, emoji semantic change can take on many different forms. They can be tied to language semantics, where their meanings change as words in a language change. They can change through visual similarities between themselves and something else. Or they can be assigned a meaning without a concrete relation to language semantics or visual similarities at all. The ways in which they change can be brought about by specific publics, in which one community might interpret emoji differently than another. Or the act of assigning the meaning to an emoji can create a public and can introduce a community of participation. Overall, their semantics are incredibly complex, and they themselves, without a doubt, are a development in the language of the future. Thank you.